Did you know that roughly 48% of Americans couldn't afford a $1,000 emergency? Yeah. Today's video, we are going to address that because there is a financial reckoning that is fast approaching. It's actually coming potentially on Friday. I want to break down what's going on, but first, we need to look at this. It says stock futures are little changed as investors await retail earnings and Fed minutes. The biggest thing that's happening this week, other than the fact that retail earnings are coming out, is the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is speaking at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium. That is happening on Friday. That right there could be catastrophic. And I want to show you this. This right here, it says Fed Chair Powell's Jackson Hole speech could jolt markets. Evercore warns of a 15% drop. 15%. You want to know how substantial that is? The drop, the Black Monday. This happened in sometime in 1987. I know that, okay? But this was a 22% drop. The Dow Jones completely plummeted. Single day, I believe it was 22.6%. That was Black Monday. The most recent event, the COVID crash. This happened on March 16th. Okay, March 16th, 2020. This is when it happened. The Dow Jones dropped 12.9%. They are talking about a drop of 15%. That would be devastating, not just to businesses and the millionaires and the billionaires, but even the lower income households. People with the 401k would see their really their whole future completely change. Now, this could be a great buying opportunity for long-term investors, but for most people, they're not looking to invest long-term. They just want to be able to afford that pizza on Friday night. They want to be able to afford to keep the roof over their head or keep the lights on. That's what they want. They're not worried about buying their vacation condo. No, they're not worried about buying a new convertible to drive around in the summertime. No, that's not what they're looking for. They want just the basic necessities. And even going back one further to the 2008 financial crisis, you may remember this. Over a 2-year span, I believe it was October 2007 to sometime 2009, I think April, May, something like that, we saw markets plummet where stocks, the value of stocks dropped by like 50%. It was absolutely insane. But this is why I'm showing you this. Americans are going to get crushed. Here's the reason why. It says the average 401k balances dropped 3% due to market volatility. This was back in June. Okay? Back in June, the 401k balances dropped by 3%. This is what people are using to pay for emergencies. There's something called a hardship withdrawal, where the IRS allows you to withdraw up to, I think, $1,000 one time, and that is to pay for a hardship. Well, what's crazy is that $1,000 won't even pay for a new set of tires. It won't even get you a new HVAC system. Okay, in some cases, if your oven breaks, $1,000 may not even cover it. That's how substantial this is. They haven't really updated this. It's a huge concern. But I want to show you this, okay? Look at this right here. Listen to this. Let me know your thoughts as well.
This is about to get real ugly. The cost of living wants to kill the living. Americans are pulling out of their 401k at an alarming rate. Wait, people actually have retirement funds? Oh, this is all part of the plan. Inflation is kicking people's behinds out here. More Americans are tapping into their 401k plans because the cost of living is outrageous. Some people are only using the funds just to pay bills, not even for emergencies. And more Americans are living off credit cards.
Okay, I want to touch on something really quick. I talked about a hardship withdrawal. You got to prove that there's a hardship. Then on top of that, you have to, for one, not take over $1,000. But this is why it's a big deal. I've been reading a lot of comments from people saying that they are borrowing money from friends and family members. Somebody that actually sold one of their vehicles, just completely sold it, got rid of it, and took that money to pay for her rent. Okay, pay for her other car payment. She had two, her and her husband. Okay. Another person said that they completely cashed out their retirement account. Cashed it out. Not a hardship withdrawal. They just took all the money out and are going to pay the penalty. You know why? Because, for one, they couldn't afford to put a new roof on their house. They needed to put a new roof on their house. And that was their best option, is to just take money from their 401k. And I understand that. But more and more Americans, again, I've said this, 40-some percent, almost 50% of Americans cannot afford a $1,000 emergency. So what do? They put on credit cards. Well, that's difficult when you max out your credit cards. Once you max out your credit cards, you're stuck. So what do you do at that point? Well, find the next best thing. And if your only available money or option is to just completely pull the money from your 401k, that's what people are doing. Look at this right here. I'll show you this. It says, how many people made early 401ks withdrawals in 2024? Well, I want to show you this. Look at this right here. It says a rising number of Americans are making early 401k withdrawals to deal with financial emergencies. According to a recent Vanguard study, found that 4.8% of participants initiated a hardship withdrawal in 2024. This is up from 3.6% in 2023. Now, that's one thing. But what happens when you can't actually make a hardship withdrawal? What happens when you are looking at your 401k and you're planning to retire here very soon, but you can't because, well, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell decided to talk and the markets dropped by 15%. This is why I'm saying a financial reckoning is coming. We could see Jerome Powell completely send the market the opposite direction, completely go up. But if history has told us anything, when Jerome Powell speaks, it's usually, especially lately, the market goes down. Not up, it goes down. And that's when President Trump has to come out and start to, put something out on X or on Trump Social and to try to get the market to rally and go up again. I don't know if this is the case. But what I do know is that most people are not in a position to withstand a 15% drop. It's just not going to happen. Think about all the people that you know. Think about your own investment account. If it dropped 15%, what do you notice? And if it dropped 15%, would your spending habits change? I asked somebody this before. I asked a good friend of mine too. I said, what would happen because he's big into crypto. I said, what happens if Bitcoin just drops by $10,000? And he said, and this was, a little while ago, but he said if Bitcoin dropped, or like we've seen in the past, it goes up and down. And every time it drops, he does the same thing. He stops spending money. He doesn't have it. He feels like he is poor, and he's not. He doesn't buy anything new. He doesn't go on vacation. He works a little bit harder. He makes his kids work as well. All because he sees his portfolio go down just a little bit. That's what's going to happen. It's mental. It's up here. When we see the value of our portfolio, our 401k, okay, when we see the value of these drop, mentally we feel broke, feel poor. As a result, we stop spending money. That's what's going to happen. So I just wanted to share this with you because I know millions of people are going to be absolutely crushed if we see markets drop by 15%. lately, I've been getting a lot of comments from people that are saying, yep, they just invested. They made their first investment. That's great as long as you're consistent. It's called dollar cost averaging, DCA. You slowly invest into something. Okay? And the reason I say that, again, this isn't financial advice, but if you put, let's say, $10,000 into, let's say, Palantir today and it dropped 9%, I think I'd be pretty upset. Put $10,000 in and all of a sudden I'm down $900. Yeah, be a little bit upset. We'll see what happens tomorrow, but as of today, that is what we know. So, just want to thank you guys for watching. If you have any insight, any input, please let me know down in the comment section below. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.